Hey guys, welcome. This is Ryan. Welcome to the investing channel here on YouTube. In today's video, I want to talk to you guys about Roth IRAs. So in this video, I'm going to explain basically what they are and why they're important for you to have. I'm also going to be explaining how you can get one with very little risk. But before I get started, if you guys are into investing, whether it's stocks, bonds, mutual funds, whatever, real estate, then please look down over here on the right side of the screen and smack that subscribe button. And when that bell pops up, smack it with your mouse so that you're notified as soon as I come up with more videos about investing. So let's go ahead and get started. Roth IRAs are one of the best things that you can do to invest these days. So what is an IRA? Well, basically it's an individual retirement account. So when you think of a Roth IRA, I want you to think about a box that you can put all your investments in, whether it's stocks, bonds, mutual funds, savings accounts, EFTs. You're going to be putting all these into a box. And let me explain how that's going to work for your benefit. There is a Roth IRA contribution limit that you can put in each year. So into this box, you're basically, the maximum that you can put in as of 2020 is $6,000. And as time goes by, that $6,000 limit's going to go up. Just a few years ago, it was $5,500, but right now it's $6,000. So each year that you're putting money into this box, into this Roth IRA, you're going to be able to put $6,000 in. And in a couple more years, they're probably going to raise that limit, that contribution limit, and it might go up to $6,500 a year. So each year, that is just stacking. You're putting in more and more money into this, and I'll explain more why that's a benefit to you right now. So the Roth IRA withdrawal age limit is going to be 59 and a half is what it's at. So basically you're putting in money. It doesn't have to be 6,000. That's just the maximum limit that you can put in as of right now per year. So you're going to be putting in whatever you can into this Roth IRA. Every year you're going to be putting money in, whether it's $100, whether it's $6,000, whatever you are able to do, just keep putting money into this. And that by the time that you reach 59 and a half years old, you're going to be able to pull that money out tax-free. And the reason why it's tax-free is because when you initially invested the money, you pay taxes on it at that time. Okay, so let's just pretend for a moment that you're 27 years old, you've been out of college a few years, you've got a good job. So you create a Roth IRA account and you put $6,000 in it. And over the course of the year, that money, that $6,000 is going to accrue interest and it's going to compound. So by the end of the year, let's just say, for example, you're around the 8,000 mark. You've got your 6,000 initial investment and then you've got the additional $2,000 that you've earned off compounding interest. Now, obviously, these are just kind of random numbers that I put up. You can talk to a financial advisor if you want, and they can basically do a calculation for you. Or what you could do is you could go online and look up Roth IRA Calculators, and you can plug in your numbers. You can plug in how much you plan on putting in each year. You can put in your age that you're starting at and the age that you're going to be retiring at, and it'll give you a rough estimate of what that's going to be over the course of the lifetime that you're putting money into your Roth IRA. So basically you put $6,000 in your first year. Now keep in mind the limit, the contribution limit, that's going to be going up every couple of years. Just a couple of years ago, it was $5,500, but right now it's $6,000. So that contribution limit, as it increases every couple of years, the amount of interest that you're going to be able to earn off those additional funds is just going to keep growing. So you're not going to stick at 6,000. You might be at 7,000, or a couple of years down the road, 5 years down the road, it might be $7,500 that you can put in each year. But you're putting in more each year as you get older, and that interest is just going to grow higher and higher and higher, right? So now by the time you're 59 and a half years old, you're going to be able to withdraw that money, and it's going to be tax-free, which is great, right? All right, so let's think about this in this scenario. You're 27 years old. You start putting money into your Roth IRA, and now over the course of years, everything's been accruing. Now you're 59 and a half years old, and you decide, you know what? I'm going to withdraw all that money right now. You withdraw all that money. It's tax-free at this point, okay? And the other great thing is that in just a few more years, you're going to be 65 years old, and then you're going to be able to get your Social Security. So not only do you have a huge amount of money that's been accruing over the course of your lifetime, but you're also going to be getting Social Security on top of that, which is great. You're going to be sitting really good when you go into retirement. So some people wonder, they think, oh, well, do I have to put in $6,000? Well, no, you don't have to put in $6,000. You could put in $1,000 a year. You could put in $500 a year. The idea is just to start putting a little bit of money into these Roth IRAs and start when you're young. As soon as you can, even if you're older now, don't worry about it. Just create a Roth IRA account and start putting money into it, because the whole idea is to have money in there and have that interest start to accrue and compound every year, okay? So one thing I want to tell you guys, though, is that if you decide to make a withdrawal on your Roth IRA, and let's say it's before your age 59 and a half, and also before the account is just 5 years old, then what you could face is you could face some penalties and interest on that. But there are some ways that you can kind of bypass that, and I'm going to explain those right now. One of the things that you could do is you can withdraw up to $10,000 to put towards your first home. This is a once-in-a-lifetime deal that you can do, so you have a maximum of $10,000 that you can withdraw from your Roth IRA as long as it goes towards the purchase of your first home, okay? The next thing is that you can withdraw some of the funds to go towards education. So the third thing we've already talked about, you have to wait until you're 59 and a half years old. So if you wait that long, then you're going to avoid any kind of taxes or penalties on your investment, okay? The fourth item is if you pass away or you become disabled. The fifth thing that you can do is withdraw money towards unreimbursed medical expenses dealing with health insurance if you're unemployed. Okay, so let's go into the next scenario. Let's say that you are not 59 and a half years old and that you need to pull some money out of your Roth IRA account, okay? But you want to avoid the tax penalty. So in the previous scenario, I told you guys that in that scenario, your account was under 5 years old. But in this scenario, let's think about your account being over 5 years old. Well, you can pull money out and it will be tax-free. But the thing that you need to... Okay, sorry. So let's talk about that again. Your Roth IRA account is over 5 years old. You've had it up and running for 5 years. You're still under 59 and a half years old, and you want to avoid tax penalties if you withdraw some of that money early. Well, you can as long as you make sure that you have met one of those 5 parameters, one of those 5 points that I talked about just a moment ago in the scenario if your account was under 5 years old. So that's something that you want to research before you actually initiate any kind of withdrawal of your funds in your Roth IRA account to make sure that you can avoid tax penalties at all costs, okay? Okay, guys, so for those of you guys that are in your 20s or your 30s and you're watching this right now, I want you on the next business day to run and go get a Roth IRA account and start putting money into that. And the reason is because you're young. You have a lot of years left until you're 59 and a half. For those of you that are in your 40s or maybe your early 50s, we don't have as much time, right? You've got to get it started right away. Just put some money in right away because by the time you reach 59 and a half, all that money, all that interest has been compounding and you're going to be able to pull that out tax-free. So let's run a scenario here. Let's just say, for example, you're 25 years old. You're able to do the maximum contribution of $6,000. You put that money into your Roth IRA account and you just start throwing it in every single year. Well, by the time you're 65 years old, you're coming up for retirement, you decide, you know what, I'm going to pull that money out now. You should have in that Roth IRA account somewhere around $973,000. And this is taking into account some adjustments because over time the contribution maximums start to increase, interest rates change and stuff, but roughly you can expect around $973,000 in that account that you're able to pull out tax-free, right? Okay, so let's run this a little bit differently. You're 25 years old, you want to retire at age 65, and at age 65, that's when you're going to pull your money out. Let's just say the maximum contribution is going to be $6,000 every year for the next 40 years. You put all that money into your account every single year, and what you basically paid out of your own pocket is around $240,000, okay? You've got $240,000 of the money that you've earned throughout your lifetime, and you've put into this box, accruing interest. Well, by the time you're 65, that $240,000 roughly becomes $973,000. And this is based off a Roth IRA calculator that I did. I just went online on Google and I pulled it up and I typed it in and that's what it came up with. All right, so here's one more thing to think about for you guys that are young right now. Another benefit. It may not seem like a benefit, but it's a benefit for you guys. You're just starting off in life. You've got a career just getting started. You're probably not making as much as you're potentially going to make later on in your life. And for those of you that are young, you're in a smaller tax bracket. So you're basically being taxed less of a percentage than somebody that's 40 or 50 or making over $100,000 a year, right? So the benefit to you is that you're getting you're in a smaller tax bracket, you're being taxed less money, and you're able to pull that money out and you're able to put that in a Roth IRA account. For those of us that are older, that are maybe making a little bit more money, we're taxed at a higher bracket, right? So as soon as we put that money in, we're being penalized more than what you are. All right, guys, so the main point here is start putting money aside. Start investing in yourself. Have some kind of savings going. Do something to have money there in preparation of your retirement. You never know what obstacles life's going to throw your way, and you don't want to be in your 70s and still working or just hoping that you're going to be able to live off your Social Security. Who knows? Social Security may not be around by the time you retire, but you need to prepare for yourself. You need to protect yourself, okay? Financially. It's very important. So thank you guys for watching, and if you guys like the video, please give it a thumbs up. Also, look over here on the right side of the screen, subscribe to the channel, smack that notification bell when it pops up. That way you'll be notified when I come up with my next video on investing on the investing channel, okay? Thanks guys for watching. Bye-bye.